Hello there, my name is Blue Amethyst. If you like, you could call me Bam or you could just call me Blue, whichever one that you want to go with. And welcome to today's reading. And in today's reading, as you've read the title, it's basically what you need to hear right now. And this reading is going to be a general reading. There is no pick a card in this reading, it's just a general reading that I felt called to do as I was doing my own personal reading for the day. So as you can already see, we have the King of Swords, but before we dive into that, if you're new here, I just want to say, first of all, welcome and feel at home. I love to do readings. I do all kinds of readings except readings on health. But on my channel, I do pick a card readings mostly. But today, I'm doing a general reading. And if that's the kind of content that you would like to see, then you can subscribe to my channel and remember to press the post notification bell so that you will get notified every time I post a video such as this one. Alright, so let us dive into today's reading. And as you can already see, I have the King of Swords out there. And this card basically came out while I was doing my own personal reading. And when I finished, I was like, I want to do a reading for the collective. And this is the card that fell out. So in this reading, what I'll be looking at is what exactly do you need to hear? Last week, we looked at the energies of the month of July and the King of Wands came out. And this week, we have the King of Swords coming out. And what the King of Swords is coming here to tell us is we need to be more strategic in how we are approaching things in the month of July. We need to start thinking ahead and planning ahead. The King of Swords is powerful because of his intellect. He's the kind of person who always plans ahead. He always has a strategy for everything that he does. He doesn't rush into action. He's the kind of king that will take time to gather the facts and to listen to what is being said before they speak. They're very patient and they tend to act based off of what they know. They don't really put emotion in the mix of what they are doing. So they tend to put their emotions aside and act on what they need to do. They make a plan and they execute it. So with this card over here, what this tells me is that we need to start being more strategic. What is the plan that you have? I remember last week we were looking at the energies of the month of July. And while we were looking at that, we saw the King of Wands telling us that we need to be outgoing. We need to be outgoing in the month of July. We need to get out of our comfort zones. If we are going to achieve anything significant in the month of July, then it will need us to get out of our comfort zones and be outgoing in the month of July. But this week, what we are also being told is while you are being outgoing, while you are taking those necessary steps to achieve the plans that you have set out, it's so important for you to also have a plan. Create a plan for yourself. Make sure you're not just going into this business, you're not just going into your career without having a plan. Make sure you have a plan in the month of July, because if you don't have a plan, what you are basically doing is just planning to fail, So in as much as you are going to be outgoing in the month of July, it's also very important for you to take time and plan ahead. Make sure you have a very detailed plan of what you're doing, because the King of Swords pays attention to the detail, and then they make their moves based off of a strategy that they have created, right? So let us see what else that you need to hear apart from the need to plan ahead. What else is it that we need to hear? What else is it that we need to know for the month of July, even as you're going forward? What is it that you guys need to hear? What do we need to know? So we have the Judgment in the reverse. Okay. We have Judgment in the reverse. Let us see what else we have here. We have the Emperor also in the reverse. And we have the Moon. The Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. And finally, the Two of Swords in the reverse. Okay, let's get into this very quickly. There's a message over here of stagnating, right? Because we have the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, and we also have the Judgment in reverse. Now, Judgment has to do with major transformation, having an awakening. This card was here last week. For those of you who were here last week looking at the general reading for the month of July, I believe this was there, the Judgment. I also feel it was there in one of the pick a card readings. I think it was group 3, if I'm not wrong. Group 3, you guys had the Judgment, if you saw the video for the July pick a card reading. Judgment was there, and there was the feeling of transformation going on. But over here, what I'm picking up is that part of the reason as to why we are being told to have a plan and to be strategic is because there is a lot of stagnation that is happening. Things are sort of going very, very slowly, right? It feels like things are not moving as fast as you want them to move right now. You want things to change in your life, but things aren't changing. Nothing is changing. Everything seems to be stuck, right? And that's why it's important for you to have a plan. In order for you to see some momentum coming into your life, you need to have a plan. It's because of the stagnation and the feeling of things are moving very, very slowly. The change that you're expecting is coming in very, very slowly. I remember last week we were talking about transformation happening and changes coming in the month of July, but it feels like for some of you this change, the reason as to why it's coming in very slowly is because you don't have a plan just yet. And so that's why the first card that came out was the King of Swords, because you need to have a plan. You need to start creating a plan in order for things to start moving forward for you. You need to have a plan that you've already put in place and you can start executing for yourself. I feel also that with the Emperor in the reverse, there is that feeling again of a lack of independence right now. So the plans that you guys are making have to do, those of you who are seeing this video, this has to do with your independence, right? With your financial security, with your freedom, your sense of freedom. So there is a lot of restriction that is happening in your life right now, and in the areas that you desire to see an expansion. So this could be a feeling of restriction in your finances. Things are not moving as you'd like them to move. It feels like you're just stuck, and no matter how much you try to push the wheel forward, it's just stuck right there, and things are just, they're not moving, they're just there, they're stuck. So what you're being told again is this whole feeling of, I feel restricted, I feel like I do not have the freedom that I need to be having at this point in time in my life. It's all there because there's a lack of strategy in the way you are moving, right? It almost feels like you're in defense mode or in survival mode. So whatever you're doing is out of a place of fear most of the time. And it's because you're in survival mode, right? So you just tend to do most of what you do just intuitively. You just follow your intuition most of the time, which there is nothing wrong with following your intuition, right? It's always good to listen to your intuition, but at the same time, when there is a lack of balance with having a plan, having a strategy in your life, having some kind of plan to fall back on, it can cause things to be a little bit shaky, right? And also because you are sort of in survival mode and in defense mode for some of you, it makes it very hard for you to see the expansion that you want to see in your life. There's this feeling of you are really stranded and you really don't know what to do. You're a bit undecided about what you should do because it feels like you've been trying everything that you that you could possibly try and nothing seems to be working out. There's that feeling over here with the moon card that I'm getting, that some of you are trying to really listen and to key in to your intuition, like deep down and subconsciously you know that change is supposed to be happening in your life right now. It should be going on in your life right now. You also know that expansion is something you should be experiencing right now with the Emperor. Like subconsciously, these are things that you know that you should be moving forward. You know that you should be expanding. You should be experiencing some kind of huge transformation in your life right about now. But you feel stuck. You feel like you don't know what to do. You feel like everything that you could have done, it's like you're running out of ideas on what to do, right? Let's see. I just want to pick out one more card and see how you guys should really go forward, because it feels like you really don't know what to do. You're just stuck. But I'm hearing the reason as to why you're stuck. It's because you've never really had a plan that you thought through to the end, like an actual strategy. Have you ever actually sat down to create a strategy on how you will go about your business, how you will go about this expansion that is coming in your life? Have you been preparing for it? Have you been planning for that, expansion? But let's see, how are you guys going to get out of this? Right. We have the 5 of Cups. All right. In the reverse also. A lot of reverse energy, but the 5 of Cups in the reverse over here comes to tell me, and this is a very similar message to what I got for myself in the morning, that you need to start focusing on what you have. Stop focusing on what you've lost. Stop focusing so much on the problem at hand, and start, first of all, seeing the blessings that you have in your life at the moment. Because you see, when you focus so much on something, then that thing tends to increase in your life. It tends to multiply in your life. So you're being advised to shift your perspective a little bit, right? Because you see, with the 5 of Cups, what this card shows us is a man that is staring down at 3 cups that have fallen over, and wine has spilled all over the place. There is no getting that wine back, but he's sad about it. But when when he turns around and looks behind him, he'll find 2 cups that still remain, And also, if he can just look at the flowing river, he'll realize that there is so much abundance, that surrounds him. So, what this tells us over here is that sometimes when we are so focused on what we've lost, on all the losses, on how things are going wrong so much in our lives, and we forget to be grateful for what we have, right? So with the 5 of cups coming to us in the reverse, what the message is for us here today is we need to simply be grateful. First of all, learn how to be grateful for what we have. Be grateful for the 2 cups that remain standing. Focus on what is there first of all. The other thing that we can learn with this card is there is a river flowing in front of this man, and he doesn't seem to see that, because he's so focused on what he has lost. Yet in front of him, there's a river right over there, and he can go and just fill those 3 cups that fell over with water, and he would have his 3 cups, all the 5 cups full of refreshing, full of water, So that tells us that it's so important for us to learn how to be grateful. The moment you are grateful for what you have, then you begin to open yourself up to seeing the opportunities around you. Because sometimes the opportunity is right in front of you and you can't see it because you're so focused on the wrong thing. You're focused on what you have lost. The High Priestess in the reverse. So the High Priestess in the reverse over here tells us, right. Yes, I remember I was talking about the moon over here, and I said that some of you subconsciously, you know what to do. You should be expanding, you should be growing. And I also said that you have been doing things from a place of listening to your intuition, and you haven't really been balancing it out with a plan. You've never really made a plan. You listen to your intuition, but you never make a plan, and that's why things are not moving the way they should be moving. Things are kind of stuck, and you feel stuck. But another message that is coming through over here with the High Priestess in the reverse is, okay, there are 2 messages here. The first one is, there is a feeling of disconnect for some of you guys. You're having a disconnect with your intuition, with your spirituality. And so there is a very huge need, okay? There's a very huge need for you to reconnect with your higher self, with your intuition, in order for you to experience that transformation that you need, okay? So the healing that some of you need right now is a healing of your intuition and your spiritual lives. Because if your spiritual life is out of balance, then the rest of your life also goes out of balance. Whenever an area of your life is out of balance, it tends to affect other areas of your life as well, So it's important for some of you to reconnect with your intuition, with your spirituality, so that you can begin to get those ideas moving, so that you can be able to think more clearly and have new ideas that will be able to bring in the expansion and the changes that you require to come into your life. The other message has to do with fear, right? With the moon over here. So some of you, because of I remember I said that some of you are in survival mode. So those of you who are in survival mode, there is a lot of fear that you tend to operate from a place of fear a lot. And so that has cut you off from your intuition, from your higher self, right? And that has sort of disoriented you to the point whereby you don't know what to do. You feel stranded most of the time. And there's that lack of progress because of the fear that you keep on experiencing with the moon card over here. So the advice for those of you who are in survival mode is, first of all, again, let's go back to the lesson of the 5 of Cups in the reverse. You need to stop focusing so much on the things that are bringing in fear in your life because it's not serving you. If anything, it's really stopping you from progressing. It's stopping you from growing, right? So what you need to do is begin to intentionally, this is not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing to do. It's never an easy thing to do when things around you are falling apart and you feel so frustrated, you feel so annoyed, you feel so helpless, you don't know what to do. It's so difficult for you to just turn around and become grateful for what you have. The 5 of Cups, the guy has lost 3 cups. He only has 2 left, He's lost 3. 3 is more than 2. Of course he's annoyed. Of course he's pissed off. Of course he's gonna be fixated on the loss. And it's okay to mourn what you've lost, to be angry about it. It's okay to feel all those emotions. But you should not allow them to overtake you to a point whereby it becomes your way of living. You become a person who's in survival mode. Survival mode is not how we should be living. And one of the fastest ways to get out of survival mode, although there is no shortcut, is you have to literally change your perspective. The King of Swords also talks about your perspective. How do you think? How do you look at things, right? How are you viewing your abundance? How do you view, your transformation, your abundance, your independence, your freedom? How do you view it, Many times when change is coming in our lives, it tends to come with a little bit of chaos, just a little bit of chaos. And sometimes it can be a lot of chaos. Why? Because it's trying to get us out of our comfort zones. And remember, July is about, you need to get out of that comfort zone if you're going to achieve anything. And I remember I told some of you last week that the universe will bring things your way that will get you out of there. So, it's important for us to begin shifting our focus to what brings us joy, what makes us happy, Shift your focus to the things that are going for you right now, the things that are working out for you right now. And then use that energy of being grateful for the little that you have right now to attract more abundance in your life. It all has to do with shifting your mindset, first of all. King of Swords. Shift your mindset. Wow. It's not an easy thing to do. You have to be very intentional about this. Right. The Hanged Man in the reverse. Yeah. The moment you become intentional about, it's a beautiful message, the moment you become intentional about changing your perspective and connecting with your higher self, then you will get out of the stagnation that you're experiencing. There's a lot of stagnation, but you guys are coming out of the stagnation, okay? But you have to change your perspective and connect with your higher self. Listen to your intuition, right? Because the fears that you have right now, those fears, those subconscious fears, they are driving away your blessings. And so you need to be careful about that. You need to address your fears, and you need to face them, right? Confront your fears with love and with gratitude. That will lead you to shifting your mindset, connecting with your higher self, receiving new ideas, not just receiving them, more like realizing what is in front of you and making use of it, right? Which will lead you to getting out of the stagnation that you're experiencing and help you to come into the freedom, come into the abundance, come into the transformation and the expansion that you're seeking so much. Wow. Back of the deck. Let us see what you have at the back of the deck. The Devil in the reverse. The Devil in the reverse, you guys. Woof. So with the Devil in the reverse, this tells us that, you know what? It's okay, even though right now things are not going the way you want them to, they're not moving as fast as you want them to. Like, things are moving very slow for some of you, and it's really, really frustrating because you're like, I need that money right now. I need this to be done, like yesterday. I need this to be done. I need to get out of this situation. I don't like what is happening. And you are going through a lot of emotions right now. But, you're being told with the Devil in the reverse, you're getting out of this energy. Some of you have already decided, you know what, I'm walking out of this toxic mindset that I've developed for myself. I'm getting out of the fear, right? I won't let the fear control me anymore. And you're choosing to be more grateful for what you have. So, with that said, you guys, I am so happy for those of you who needed to hear all those messages. I hope that it resonated with you. If it did, please tell me in the comment section below. And I will be glad to do more readings. I would love to do a love reading soon if that's something you guys would love. Personally, I'm not really huge on love readings, but I can do them. And I will do one very soon. So do subscribe and press the notification bell to get notified so that whenever I upload, you will get notified. Yeah, so you guys, remember, change your mindset, be grateful, connect with your higher self. You will experience the freedom and the expansion, the transformation, and the changes you're expecting. Right now, it's moving slow, but don't worry. The moment you have that shift in your mind, so much clarity will come into your life, and you'll get out of that place where you are. Things will begin to move very swiftly in your life. So that is the message I have for you guys today. I love you so much. Have a wonderful time. And I'll see you in the next reading. Blessed be. Goodbye.